What does the hiring outlook look like for 2021 now that we have this news of an upcoming vaccine? Hello, Jay Denton with LaborIQ by ThinkWhy. We've been asked a lot of questions recently about, outcome of the presidential election, vaccine news, and so on. How does that impact the 2021 outlook that we recently released? Well, we'll focus more on the vaccine portion of it because something that we've talked a lot about with folks is that's going to be the biggest needle mover. Once we get COVID-19 under control, it will allow a lot of different types of businesses to get back to regular operations. So we'll focus more on that for now. Our outlook already included some assumptions that sometime in the first half of 2021, a vaccine would be introduced and start to have some type of impact. Now, the real impact will take some time, even after the first introduction of it. So we had more of the hiring picking up in mid to late 2021 and the economy really improving after that at a much more substantial pace. So outlook for now is unchanged. In fact, if there was not news of a vaccine sometime in the near future, that's where we'd be more concerned about pulling in expectations to some degree for 2021. So if you look at Wall Street and some others, a lot of those expectations are now baked in for next year. So back to the original question, what does hiring look like for next year? Well, if we step back and we look at job growth, let's look back at, say, the last decade. You would hear a number like 2 million jobs added in the United States, but what that really meant was, especially for talent acquisition professionals, the real number to look at, how many hires does that mean? So if you'd have roughly 2 million or a little bit more jobs added, that could equate to 60 million hires because of the domino effect of somebody takes that new job that's added, somebody has to backfill them, and then you see this shuffle across the labor market. So 60 million hires would be kind of normal. In fact, we were a little above that the last few years before COVID. So looking at next year, 2021, if we really get the bump from the vaccine that we think could happen, instead of 60 million, you could be looking at 70 to 80 million hires, possibly more. But right now, we're estimating roughly in that 70 to 80 million range. Now, talent acquisition professionals, the next 3 years, we could be looking at something like 200 million hires or more, depending on how strong the economy bounces back. So it might not feel like it right now when we're still working our way through this. But if you look at the next few years, there is a lot of optimism about the economy and particularly what that means for you. So to stay up to date on our latest outlooks by industry and by location, continue to follow us on your favorite social media outlet or at thinkwhy.com/LaborIQ.